When it comes to prototyping, one of the things that I want to cover first is the ability in Figma to use Smart Animate. And it's really replicating how web CSS animations work, because Figma is taking the first frame that we have and comparing the changes with another frame that we've made as a duplicate of the first one, and then creating all of the states in between to create a smart animation. Now, if that sounds a little bit abstract, don't worry, we're going to cover everything. But I just want to let you know that in here, you can see we have this main frame that we're going to use to demo all of the smart animate possibilities. We also have our little object that we're going to animate. It's a little frame in here. It's called frame 2. We can call it whatever. Let's call it rectangle or like square. And it's just going to be that. So when it comes to smart animate options, basically the things that we can take from one frame and change them in another frame to create an animation in between them, we can think about position, rotation, size or scale, border radius, color, opacity effects, and a couple of other things. But basically those are the major ones that we want to consider. So to create an animation with prototyping possibilities in Figma, we want to duplicate this original frame. Important thing is that the element that we want to kind of create the smart animate from needs to be called the same. And it often happens when you're duplicating frames, all of the things are just going to stay the same. But if for some reason you're having problems with a prototyping or animation when you're working in Figma, just double check if the layers are actually named correctly. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually change the position of this frame. So maybe something like this. We can change the size. Let's make it bigger. Besides the size, we can rotate this element. We can change the border radius to make it a little bit different like this. We can change the color. Let's make it darker like that. We can also change the opacity. Let's make it 50% by hitting the 5 on our keyboard. And finally, we can maybe add an effect as well. Let's add a layer blur, something like 50 to really blur it. And then to actually create this animation, we have to move to the prototype tab. It's not something that we've explored so far, so this entire module will be about that. You can see this first frame already has a flow 1 attached to it. And as soon as you, and it doesn't matter if for you it's not going to be there, don't worry. It's going to appear as soon as you drag one of these handles that appear when you go over the edge of any kind of frame. So you can also go in here. You're going to see these little plus icons. Tap on it, drag it to the frame that you want to let Figma know that this is the starting frame and this is the end frame. And we can have on click, navigate to, ensure that it's smart animate in here and smart animate in here. Sometimes it's going to be instant for you. Basically, if you play around with things, Figma is going to remember your last choices. So move it to smart animate. We're going to go over all of this, so don't worry. Let's just keep it as easy for now and put the time to something that's a little bit longer than, I think by default it's going to be 300 milliseconds. Let's make it like 1600 milliseconds. Perfect. Now when we select the second frame, we again have these options in here. Let's just drag it in here. And as you can see, Figma remembered all of our choices, so the time is now the same as we set it up for the first frame. Perfect. To play the prototype and demo what you've done, you can either hit the play in here or in here, and it's going to take you to the prototype. If you already have the prototype open for some reason because you've played it previously, sometimes I've noticed that it doesn't reset well for me, so I do like to restart it. It doesn't take long unless you have like dozens and hundreds of screens that you've prototyped, but it's good to refresh it. And okay, let's see what happens. So basically all of those things change. The opacity is slowly changing, the color is changing, the rotation is changing, the positioning, the size, all of those things are animating slowly. Okay, that's all for this video. Hopefully you were able to follow along. What I'd love for you to do is when you open up this file, erase this frame that we have in here and kind of just do one thing by one. So try to just change the position and see how that works. Just the rotation, just the size, and so on, so that you really understand what's happening from one frame to another.